This is the Tibet Center Kunchap Tarduling. That's our Tibetan Buddhist name, meaning place for the pervaded by seekers of liberation. And then we don't just mean political liberation, we mean liberation from suffering for everyone. And these are the techniques to have that happen. This is our twice weekly presentation of the Buddha Dharma, covering various topics on the spiritual path, we put it that way. All the prayers we say are right up front on the website now. You don't have to go to the FAQ section. And we are now on, what is the word? Substack. So you could look at us for our broadcast on Substack. We're also on Blue Sky, but never mind that. We look forward to getting back on Facebook, but we don't know when. If there's anyone who has passed away recently and you wish us to pray for them, put their names in the chat box now, call them in, whatever you want to do. Don't wait till the end. So we'll start. There's a potpourri of different things. One of them is a question to the audience. If they watched Monday night, they'd have the answer, but a lot of people didn't, so we'll do that. The first prayer is prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West, for all the people living there together with their near ones who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them. May all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon, and especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness. May they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi which examines the dharmas called profound illumination, and at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Form is empty. Emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form. Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus, all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisoha. O Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the bodhisattva mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound, transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering and the world, with its gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. So Refuge and Bodhisattva vow, it's under the heading Generating Bodhicitta. We say these verses 3 times. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today, in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion today, in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. No better motivation than that, that's for sure. As is custom, we'll say one rosary round of Om Mani Padme Hum, the mantra of Avalokiteshvara, who personifies great compassion. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani. The new tanka. The new tanka. Say hello to Medicine Buddha. You don't need a healthcare plan, nothing. Don't worry, they're working on that.
Lavinia brought it back.
They're going to corporatize Medicine Buddha. So welcome, you made it.
I made it.
Was you coming from Connecticut?
No, Penn Station. No, I got an alert that Amtrak had signal issues. I thought this is not good for us, and so yeah, wires down. Yeah,
Right.
the usual.
So if you watched last night, Monday night, you know the answer to this question, but less time all the time. That's why you come here. The There was a question I asked was, between Buddha nature and clear light, are they the same or different? Someone asked His Holiness. And His Holiness answered, the question itself is there a difference between the clear light mind and the Buddha nature? The clear light mind is the most subtle state of mind. That's are they different or are they the same? If you answer correctly, you win a week's supply of what? Gorgonzola cheese? I don't know. From the vault of Nikki Vreeland. You think they're the same or different?
Same.
According to His Holiness, they are the same. So it's easy. The Buddha nature can be the empty nature of the mind, in which case it is not a consciousness, if you call it that. It can also refer to the primordial clear light mind, which is more related to the tantric teaching. So how you express it is representative of the school you're following, the context of the discussion, etc., and so forth. But everyone has it, including insects. So be careful who you step on these days. So that's that. Tonight it's appropriate a few different things. Mostly we'll start with the Kadampa masters. These are the bare bones Buddhist people from the 1100s, followers of Atisha, who started the ball rolling in this vein. I made some marks. Langri Tangpa, we had that last week. We'll just do his 5 lines again, 4 lines. He's the one who wrote the prayer, 8 verses on training the mind. So he also has something else to say. This is on page 84 of this book called Spiritual Mentor Langri Tangpa said, since one person cannot fathom the measure of another, do not belittle anyone. You don't know who you're dealing with. Since all teachings of the Buddha bring results, do not engage in them with discriminations of good ones and bad ones. And that's a problem sometimes. Oh, the lesser vehicle, the higher. It's all the teachings of the Buddha for different people at different stages of their development. You're not teaching a nursery school student quantum physics, When they get to kindergarten these days, then they get, no. But seriously, so it's all his teachings are situationally specific to the audience, the times, the culture, whatever. So you have to look at them through that lens. And he also said, 2 more little lines, since the welfare of sentient beings is a Mahayana practitioner's only task, ensure that your armor of working for the welfare of others is not weak. He's realistic. You're working for the benefit of others. It is not easy. Don't kid yourself. Prepare yourself. It takes a lot of patience. And we could, verify that in 10 minutes. We try to help people, and sometimes they kick back at us. And finally, since you cannot lead others without attaining a secure ground for yourself, strive hard in your meditation practices in solitude. He's a deep practitioner. Right now in this modern world, we don't have much opportunity for solitude, but we program this in. Our minds are going on, and it'll come up in future lives, maybe, or maybe this life, you'll have the ability to maybe a weekend alone or something, things like that, to cement what you've heard all along. Some other people, Nambarwa. This is from the 12th century, so it's also 1100s. The spiritual mentor Nambarwa. So notice these things are just practical, real-world meditation practice advice, not this sutra versus that, or the scholarly interpretation, so-and-so says that. So this cuts to the chase. He said, if you fail to feel disenchanted with the cycle of existence, if you fail to feel disenchanted with the cycle of existence in the 3 realms, your mind will not engage with liberation. So meditate on the defects of samsara and its entirety. So this is typical of Buddhism. They're not going to tell you, the average person, oh, yeah, I don't like samsara, I don't like. Create the cause for that attitude to arise. Then it will arise easily. You don't go right at the castle, you go around, trying to destroy it or whatever. So that's it. Since everything works on causes and conditions, create the causes. Don't bang your head against the wall, but have to be enlightened, If you do not decisively end attachment and clinging, your bondage to sensual objects will not be cut, So forsake material possessions as if they were gobs of spit. Ooh. I could see some of those British actors, the gobs of spit. Richard Burton. No, but anyway, so where does that clinging take place in your mind? These thoughts that keep saying, "Oh, that's a Lamborghini." Blah, 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 blah. These are thoughts of the Lamborghini. It's not the Lamborghini itself, by the way, which is another thing we'll discuss as we go through these things. Another piece of advice: if you do not possess the substantial causes, the blessings of spiritual mentors will not enter you. So cultivate the recognition of your teachers as Buddhas. Another cause you're creating, which sets up a whole mindset, sets up a whole echo chamber of, oh, it's a Buddha. That's hard to do, by the way. Substantial cause, the difference between a substantial cause and a cooperating cause. You're making a pot. The clay is the substantial cause because it'll continue into the pot. You're making a clay pot. You're making the potter, the wheel, the water, blah, blah. Those are completing causes or complementary causes. There's a lot of words they use there. But they're not the main cause. So he's saying the substantial cause. If you don't possess the substantial cause, the blessings of spiritual mentors will not enter you. So what is the substantial cause to get the blessings of the spirit? Cultivate recognition of them as Buddhas. In other words, you place them at the other Buddhas are not. It's not the point. What do you mean? He's not a Buddha. Think of them as if they are, and their advice should go right to the heart. You're taking it seriously, in other words. You're not hearing it and comparing it to what someone else would. That's the idea. You have to work around these things. Buddhism is not like the army. Yes, sir. No, sir. No, not at all. And they're about the business of killing people. So, another one. If you do not regularly meditate on impermanence, you will be confined to this mundane life. So mentally cultivate awareness of the scarcity of time. The scarcity of time. Click, click, click. And I don't like doing that, and most people don't. It's scary. If you really sincerely... What? I'm 81. How did that happen? I'm 12 years old, right? No. So impermanence is a very big key to motivate you. And it's real. You're going to go against that? I'm sorry. Everything points towards impermanence. But people veil themselves from that truth to their own disadvantage. I'm saying that now, but don't worry. I don't like impermanence either. Okay, last one from our friend Nambarwa. They don't even have his dates. They say, oh, yeah. No, 1064 something. He died in 1064. Oh, 1075 to 1138. Okay. One of the senior sons of the mentor Luxora. Who knows who these people are? Finally, he says, if you fail to train the mind within, you will not be sustained by altruistic resolve at all times. So train in the awakening mind. If you fail to train the mind within, and he means the mind of bodhicitta, you will not be sustained by altruistic resolve at all times. So train in the awakening mind. So if you have this altruistic resolve, that comes from just not, well, it's a good idea, training it. And we're going to talk a little more about surface mind, and then the question to His Holiness, where he talks about what the Westerners are calling subconscious. So that's a big deal. So one more, maybe Chimpupa, another great name. This is a wrestling match. The great Chimpupa. Once a tantric practitioner requested instruction from the spiritual mentor, Chimpupa. The master responded. And this is in a tantric context. So, the world of appearance is an illusion. Grasp it not as substantially real. If it's an illusion, I can do whatever I want. No. So we have to temper that statement with the... Not the way we think it is one way. Appears as one thing and it really isn't. Like, oh yeah, there's water. It turns out to be a mirage. If there's a good candidate, it turns out to be Trump. We don't have to get political. But things aren't the way they appear. To what? To our deluded consciousness. That's the problem. Not with the things. It's with our filter. Next point he makes, the body is flesh and blood. Grasp it not excessively as self. Flesh and blood, subject to cause and conditions, not permanent, on and on and on. With all the... See, he says a few things, and he's talking to real practitioners who are going to take this and expand it properly. We have to be held by the hand and shown. Rinpoche used to do that. He'd take a simple statement and then run it around, and of course the room would respond with their ideas. And he'd grunt them yes or no. No, it was very good. It's the way. The next point, material goods, everything we have, material goods. What are they? They're fruits of past karma. That's all. They're fruits of past karma. Exert not too much effort. Create the karma that will get you these things. That's it. Done. If you don't have it, well, I'll work on it. I'll have it in the future. So start drawing up plans for your new with your good works. Next point he makes, whatever you do is suffering. What? Have not too many chores. And he says, the cycle of existence is suffering. Embrace it not. Well, we've been told that all the time. You have to cooperate with it. What does the Bible say? Render to Caesar what's Caesar's, the rest, come off that. So that's it. And then he says, as for other essential instructions, I will give them to you later when there is a long day. So he's got a lot to say, in other words. I take it that way. I don't know. So the sets of 7, we won't go through that now. Let's find out where this person asked about. I thought I put a pen there, and I didn't. Bear with me.
Do you need a pen?
No, I put a pen to mark a page. I think I did it here. I thought I did it. This is from a book of Power of Compassion. We've been dipping in and out of it. It's another secular ethics book. It presents the whole path of Buddhism as much as possible without being doctrinaire for the average person. Just wants advice, etc. Very simple. This one is from, I think, 2000 or so. It's been around a while. It was a series of lectures given by 14th Dalai Lama, translated by, it doesn't give the dates for all the lectures. I'm giving dates because it's important. 1995. It's been around 30 years. Similar to what he always says, though, Let me find this one. Women in Celibacy. Maybe it's not in this book. Oh, yeah. The celibacy, I might as well mention this, required for enlightenment. I think generally not, he said. So you don't have to be a celibate person. You may ask why Buddha himself eventually became a monk. I think from the viewpoint of the Vinaya Sutra, the main purpose of celibacy is to try to reduce desire or attachment. From the viewpoint of Tantrayana, the tantric vehicle, particularly the highest yoga Tantra Yana, the energy drops or special bliss is the source of energy to dissolve the grosser level of consciousness or the grosser level of energy. This is very high practice, which I don't understand thoroughly. But these drops are the things that, by certain yogas, you melt them, so to speak, and they give out an essence which increases your bliss. Strong bliss consciousness is more focused, eliminates a lot of problems. They don't shy away from using sensual objects. Here you go. When you're offering things, food, water, things to taste, things to delight the sight, the nose with the incense and all that, delighting the sense consciousnesses creates a bliss. That bliss is converted into a focus. And that's the point. So you're not showing off, I have the best, incense or so, whatever. That's the point of it, and that's why you're offering. Of course, when you're offering to the Buddhas, it's for your benefit. They already have everything. And they know what you're going to give ahead of time, so you can't surprise them. It's very difficult. Hey. So anyway, he's mentioning this. Through experience of that special bliss, there is the possibility that the grosser level will eventually dissolve. Grosser level of what? If you, the mind, So the drops are the key factor for the bliss. In Tibetan Buddhism, especially if you look at the iconography of deities with their consorts, you can see a lot of very explicit sexual symbolism, which often gives the wrong impression. Boy, does it. And you have people on the internet proclaiming the wrong view totally, and not realizing they're making fools of themselves by those who know. So, anyway, actually, in this case, the sex organ is utilized, but the energy movement which is taking place is, in the end, fully controlled. And offline, we'll talk about something, different yogas about this. The energy should never be let out. Both male and female have these fluids that are retained, mixed, whatever it is. This, and they call it the kunda. There's only don't. This energy must be controlled and eventually returned to the other parts of the body. What is required for a tantric practitioner is to develop the capacity to utilize one's faculties of bliss and the blissful experiences which are specifically generated due to the flow of regenerative fluids within one's energy channels. This is high practice. Who knows? Just to hear it once, you got a good map of what's legit. What's kosher, maybe if you It is crucial to have the ability to protect oneself from the fault of emission. It is not just a purely ordinary sexual act, and here we can see there is a kind of special connection with celibacy, especially in the practice of the Kala Chakra Tantra, which this center, we have the big Kala Chakra statue here. We put on His Holiness in '91, the full month-long program of Kala Chakras. It's an important thing. When Ling Rinpoche mentioned about Chungla's life, he didn't mention the most important thing he did in New York was the 2 gatherings in Central Park of a couple 100,000 each, which he said he put on the Kala Chakra. Like 7,000 people attended, not that much, in the Oldfeld Forum or Paramount Theater. But that's what he said was a big thing. That has very big meaning for the world. On all the levels, because His Holiness said, there's maybe 2 or 3 people who are getting this full initiation in the whole audience. You really got to be in sync with the meditation, already accomplished. But you're getting the imprint. The subconscious mind, the subtlest mind is hearing it. It's being affected by it. Seeing this is a big deal. How many people never see this statue and what it represents? So it's a big thing. So, nothing but big things here at the Tibet Center, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, especially on minds, sometimes big heads. Kala Chakra literature mentions 3 types of blissful experiences. We won't go through that here because that's not. On women and celibacy. The answer you gave on women and celibacy, what's the question? She's saying, well, the answer you gave about the need for celibacy and the use of bliss and non-emission was from a man's point of view. Why is a woman's part in these practices never mentioned? What does a woman need to do with her energy to gain enlightenment through bliss? The answer is, it's the same technique. According to some of my Indian friends, practitioners of Hindu Tantrayana also realize the practice of Kundalini and Chandralini. Kundalini male, the Chandralini, the moon, female. My information is that the female also has some kinds of energy drops, so it is the same method. And today, we won't talk about it on here because not the scope of this thing, but it's the same. Lo mismo in Spanish. Chikpa in Tibet. Here's a nice question on the form of our rebirth. Who or what determines what we come back as? That's a nice thing. Hey, I can just say, according to Buddhism, it's karma, one's own actions, that really determines rebirth. Right back at you. Also, the state of mind at the point of death has a crucial role, and that's what we've been talking about here. Very important. You're around people who are dying, leave them alone, nice and quiet. Don't leave me. No. Boom. Not good. Don't. And then, as Robina pointed out, who ran the hospital, she was in a room one time where the person outwardly stopped breathing and everything, but that's not death yet. there's still cognition taking place. Sometimes there's hearing taking place. That son of a bitch came out in the audience. Now we'll get his money and all that. He's hearing this, she said. And this guy said, that's how not to behave. After that scene. I love it. Also, the state of mind is the critical role. Those who have some familiarity with Buddhism may already know that there is a principal doctrine taught by the Buddha known as the 12 links in the chain of interdependent origination. A big deal. The Nidanas, 12 Nidanas, from ignorance to old age and death. The second link of the chain is karma. Ignorance, action. Action is karma. You do something. However, the presence of karma alone is not sufficient to lead to a rebirth. Therefore, circumstantial conditioning factors such as afflictive emotions and cognitive events are necessary. Afflictive emotions, if you want a good rebirth, you get them out of them. Cognitive events, in other words, you deliberately try to change the mind. These are the 8th and 9th links, which are attachment and grasping, sometimes called craving, grasping. Craving, attachment is similar. One is the craving, and then the grasping is the actual doing of it, carrying out the orders of the craving. So when the karmic imprint is activated by the force of the 8th and 9th links, craving, grasping, attachment and grasping respectively, then the karmic imprint becomes mature, which is the 10th link, existence. So you need these factors of attachment and craving and grasping, let's put it that way, keep the words the same, to mature the karma. That's what does it. Now, if it's a bad karma, you want to stop them from maturing, I guess. I don't know. Known as the link of becoming, or existence, sometimes becoming, existence. They got to get together on English words on these things, because it's driving people like me, who's not too steady in their brain, crazy. So the nature of one's rebirth, as Holiness continues, basically depends on the karmic imprints and potential of the individual being, not only accumulated during the present life, but also during his or her previous lifetimes. Then there's a whole rule of what gets activated when. The stronger one, the one you're most conditioned to. If everything's equal, the older one goes first in, first out, FIFO. Remember that from years ago? Something like that. But there's a whole, in the Lamrim, you have this all run down, so equally powers. The one you're most used to doing, all that. It's all been mapped out. If you want to go to the chapter in the Lamrim that does this. Also, His Holiness continues, within the karmic potentials, there might be some that are more forceful or powerful, and some which are less powerful. Yes, forceful or powerful. Forceful, powerful acts are acts certainly done towards objects who are sources of power. For instance, your teacher. You do something good towards your teacher, your parents. Something like that. Sources of the Dharma and the Sangha, you're helping them out. These are sources of extreme merit. Some less. Abhidharma Kosha, a Buddhist text, mentions that among the karmic potentials or karmic seeds that one might possess within one's mental continuum, it is the most forceful one that will determine the nature of rebirth. The strongest, that'll come up among them. And usually, you do these acts continuously, that becomes most forceful because your mind constantly goes there habitually. You're harnessing the habit power somewhat. Bodhicitta, the highest. Everything I do, just let me be useful to everyone. Mm-hmm. Useful not only in temporary things, but in the long run to bring them to Buddhahood. Big deal. Is there a bigger deal? Bring it here. We'll buy it, no matter what it costs. No, no, seriously, not really, not seriously. And if the individual has many equally strong forces of karmic imprints, then it is the karmic action which is closest to the present life that would come into fruition. I thought it was the oldest one, but I'm wrong. So he's saying no. And if there are still many karmic imprints of a similar nature, then it is the karmic action which the individual is most familiar with that would lead to fruition and determine the next rebirth. As I mentioned yesterday, one of the determining factors or conditions in the state of mind at the point of death. State of mind has to be relaxed and allowing this to happen, the better part of you to come up.
So
There is something about the oldest one coming first, but I'll look it up.
if you're not in a calm place when you're leaving,
More of it, yeah, most of it.
is that karma that puts you there? I mean, it's not in your control at the moment, obviously.
At the
sometimes.
cognitive mind, it isn't. You have a time when you just, the gross mind's operating.
But if people around you are screaming and yelling and not
Yeah, that's
calm,
hard to do if you're not a strong practitioner.
But that means
But
that's
motivation.
karma that puts you there.
Yeah,
You
the fact that
know,
all these people gathered, etc. Yes, everything. The fact
Yeah.
the way here is
Right,
common.
right.
There's
So-
connection. Motivation is very important. You may not be able to be clear about the thought itself, and the highest motivation is bodhicitta, because you're looking out for the welfare of everyone. Bodhicitta is there, this group, but all of existence. You're on their side. Their merit is is propelling you. Their well-being, eventual well-being when you become a Buddha is giving you that power. So there's no higher motivation than bodhicitta. So it's useful to get used to it now. It is very important. We may not be adept in everything, but at least we have the wish to be that. I think. What do you think? What does anyone? Who is this? Is that you, Darren, texting me? Oh, good. No, it's Eugene. I'm sorry you're sick, Eugene. I thought it was ice looking for me. The motive. You can't overdo that. You can't overemphasize motivation. And then especially if it becomes part of your core value, part of your default level of what you want to be eternally.
Yeah.
You want to be a Buddha, you have to develop bodhicitta first. You can get out of samsara without it, no problem. But you won't be omniscient, you won't be able to be of most use to people. That's it, So try and get used to, as Rinpoche always said, if you're a tantric practitioner and you do the sadhanas, which are a rehearsal for death, and you imagine this happening and that, if you're very good, that works at the point of death. But if not, what never fails is compassion. What he meant by that is, let me be of use to others, let me remove suffering from others, which is a bodhisattva's ideal. Becoming Buddha to remove suffering from others eternally. So not only right now, but they have to be Buddhists to truly not ever suffer anymore. And my job's to bring them to that. We always use the word "my job" in this society because that resonates.
Yeah.
It's my job. It's my task. It is my honor and pleasure, ladies. No, it's your job. So, a little bit more. I forgot the one where I wanted to ask about the subconscious mind. I'm not answering this anymore. Tell them I died, and I'm not back yet. Call very much later. Women in Buddhism, and then mark the page, and I don't have it. No. Anyway, they talked about what as Tony has said basically, and we'll get to this next time because I don't want to take too much time. What's 39? Yeah, we only have 20 minutes. The gross mind of every thinking mind, the conscious mind. He says, I don't understand these levels, but there are sub levels in Buddhism. Gross mind you can handle with your own motivation. Okay, no, that's a bad thought. And then slowly you get used to it. Underneath. Why do we have these impulses to go here and then? We know them. The subconscious minds. How do you tame them? The answer is repetition. That's why you make a lot of offerings. You go over the same point. A lot of wishing prayers. All these may not do much on the surface, but they do a lot underneath. And underneath is what's running the show. Because sometimes you know something because you have a compulsion to go towards somewhere, some item you want. I'm not supposed to eat sweets. Here I go. Things like that. So you have to repetitively go over the exercises of taking care of what's down there, even though you don't see the results that quickly. That's where the whole show is. Deep in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
You can calm the surface waves. Deep in the ocean takes work, and that is why there's repeated mandala offerings. There's constant repetition of mantras. There's all these offerings, etc. They're not wasted. All the wishing prayers, which don't cost you anything. I wish this would happen. I wish that. You can't do much for a person suffering. That should never happen. Things like that. Very big. Well, there's a surface thought, but there's also its imprint going down and cleaning house. Somehow, I think. Anyway, we're back at the emptiness section of His Holiness's advice on dying. Here's where I put the thing. Clear light of death, we did that already. Let's see. He's talking about emptiness here, and quickly go through his introduction. And the understanding of Buddhist doctrine of emptiness is crucial to living and dying with realism and without fear. So that's the whole thing. Realism and without fear. Realism because emptiness is telling you the way things really are, not through the veil of your perceptions that are corrupted somewhat. Emptiness does not mean non-existence. You might think that emptiness means nothingness, but it does not. What are phenomena empty of? And here's the idea. You're going after where is inherent existence. What are they empty of? Empty of inherent existence. Where is it? And His Holiness will say, where is I? Where is I? All the time. What's more inherently existent to us than our own sense of I? So he goes right after the big target. Without understanding what is negated, you cannot understand its absence or emptiness. For instance, someone says on the dance floor, is Joe Jones here? You can't answer yes or no unless you know who Joe Jones is. Knowing who. No, he's not here. Someone who's knowledgeable who he is can say definitively, not here. Oh, okay. So we're looking to define what this inherent existence is. That's not easy, but it's not hard. It's not as hard as going to work every day. I always give that thing. Buddhism is hard, but not as hard as going to work every day when you're tired and all this, or taking a test or whatever, all other things we have to do. So, Buddha frequently said that because all phenomena are dependently arisen, they are relative, meaning their existence depends on causes and conditions and on their own parts. We don't see it that way. Reflexively, automatically, it's there, that's here, this is that. And they're not defined on their parts or so until you start really thinking about it. Are you your arms, your legs, your this, So, your body, for instance, does not exist independently. Rather, it depends on a great many causes, such as ovum and sperm from the parents, as well as food and water to keep you sustained. It also depends on its parts, legs, arms, torso, and head. Different dependencies by causes, substantial causes and stuff, by parts, and then the subtlest by a designation, a designating consciousness. So examine whether your body appearing as if it exists in its own right is the same or different from your arms, legs, torso, and head. You have an arm amputated, that's it's the end of your body? No, that's only my arm. Well, it gets tricky. So where is you? If it does exist the way it appears, so concretely present, it should become clearer and clearer under the light of analyzing whether the body is any of its individual parts, or whether it is their sum, or whether it is something altogether different. It should be more clear. So the thing with the chariot, or nowadays they use the car, there's a point when all these parts come together that suddenly say, oh yeah, it's a car. Well, that's a designation. No, that's just the wheel, that's not the car. That's the windshield, Funny. It's very funny. The closer you look, the more it is not found in any of these ways. And Chung-Li would always say, because we have to conclude it's only a nomination. We can't find some. Use the word nomination. Sometimes they say designation. A nomination like president gets nominated. Before that, he's not president. Have to nominate. He went through that. Very clever. He used the news of the day because everybody, who was running it, I don't know. So, this is the case for all phenomena. All. The fact that you cannot find them under such analysis means that they do not exist under their own power, not that they do not exist. You're looking in your analysis for inherent existence, non-dependence. You're not finding it. Very tricky. I hate it. So they are not self-established. They do not inherently exist despite all appearances to the contrary. Big key, despite all appearances to the contrary. And I always say to myself, how am I going to go to Penn Station if it doesn't inherently exist? I'm not understanding inherent existence. Yes, you get there because it's called this and everyone conventionally agrees we're going to designate that station and all that. And it's useful. It's really not there. No, it's not. Then how'd you get here? We used to have these arguments all the time at Tibet. It was a riot. And Rinpoche would just keep quiet. He'd drink tea. This does not mean that sentient beings and things do not exist at all. Rather, they just do not exist the way they appear to so concretely exist. I like that. Concretely. When you analyze and meditate well, you will understand that the harmony between the actual appearance of persons and things and their emptiness of inherent existence, you will realize how the harmony, they're complementary, not contradictory. That's very hard. Yeah, okay, so it's not inherently there, but you have to understand they play to each other. How could things be dependent on anything if they were inherently existent? Can't. It assumes a static reality of no dependence, inherent existence. And that's not the case. May not be apparent to us, but it's not the case when you analyze. Hard to understand this. So I'll read it again. Does not appear sentient beings do not exist. They just do not exist the way they appear to concretely exist. When you analyze and meditate well, you will understand the harmony, key word, between the actual appearance of persons and things, and their emptiness of inherent existence. They appear because they're empty. Without such understanding, emptiness and appearance seem to prohibit one another. So, with a prayer that a lot of people have to say every day, Panchen Lama's Guru Puja says, "Bless me that I can understand that appearance and emptiness are complementary and not contradictory." Understand the ultimate meaning of Nagarjuna's thought, that appearance and emptiness are complementary, not contradictory. And books are written on that. Some are upstairs. Start cracking. Get cracking. Yeah. All phenomena, causes and effects. His Holiness goes on page 152 of the dying book here. Look, I'm dying to buy this book. No. All phenomena, causes, effects, agents, and actions, good and bad, merely exist conventionally. They are dependent arisings. Because phenomena depend on other factors for their existence, they are not independent. Okay, that's logical. If it's dependent, it's not independent. Okay. The idea is to find out how it's dependent and what part our mind has in assigning status that isn't there. Big point. This is not reality talking, it was us projecting a reality. The absence of independence or emptiness of inherent existence is their ultimate truth. Comprehending this is wisdom. So on different levels, we start to frame out what this might mean. Then we have to sit with it, play around with it in our daily thoughts, point out things where things are dependent and all that. And it does take a while, what I'm told. Are there techniques in Tantra? Yes, there are, but they require a very good calm abiding mind. Again, if you have a calm abiding mind, you start reading even the discursive, studies discursively, the calm abiding gets stronger. Once you reach the point of shamatha, the blissful consciousness arises. Before that, you had to stay on the topic, 1.1.1. Then something happens. The mind is more pliant. They use the word pliancy. The body is very fresh, blissful feeling. Then you could start reading discursively. And instead of throwing you off your shamatha, it deepens it. Something happens. So that's helpful to have that. There are a lot of techniques for developing it. I recommend Alan Wallace. You want to read some of his books. He's read extensively and gives you all the techniques, tantric and non-tantric, even going to the Theravada tradition, where he shows you his techniques here are very legit. So if you have time and energy, He's all over the library with all his books, and he's on the YouTube a lot. He's a very nice man. I met him once when he was like 23, 24. He was a new monk with Geshe Rabten. He came to the Tibet Center because Chungla had invited him. Chungla was in India, but he showed up. And one hand was on the left of Geshe Rabten, if I remember, was Alan Wallace. On the right was Stephen Batchelor, the translator. Oh, thanks, Darren. Very interesting. But Alan Wallace, good scholar, understands quantum physics very well. A good heart, very good heart. He's a Dzogchen practitioner. He was also sponsored by His Holiness to do retreats above Dharamsala and his little huts that they have there. His Holiness directly put his hand on his shoulders, so to speak, and guided him. So he's a very wonderful practitioner. And there are others. We have a High Lama in place, which we hope to get soon. That would be nice. We're working on it. The fundamental cause of suffering is what? Ignorance. The mistaken conception that living beings and objects inherently exist. That's why we're going crazy, finding out. That causes the suffering. So this is worth your investment. I'm giving you a proposal here. Believe me, you'll thank me. I don't know. All faulty states of mind have this mistake at their root. So, a principal aim of the spiritual path is to counteract and remove ignorance through wisdom. Not by force, no, I'm not thinking of it, no. A wise consciousness, grounded in reality, the way things really are, not the way we think they are, understands that living beings and other phenomena do not inherently exist. This is the wisdom of emptiness. This is such good news because it means things are workable, that you don't have to suffer. I mean, I can't see it now, but I'm learning it. Logically, when you scope it out and map it out, yeah, it makes sense. That's it. That's the root. So all these people, the highest bodhisattvas, when they generate compassion, it's based on the fact that beings are not inherently existent and don't know it. So some 3 levels of compassion. So one level of compassion, like beings in a well, like a bucket in a well, bounced around. Oh, it's how. Another level of compassion higher up is they're impermanent and they don't realize it's impermanence. They don't realize getting attached to this is useless. And the third level is that they're not inherently existent, the highest level. That's in the illumination of the thought, Sankalpas. It's all over the place. So that's the point. Why you waste all this time? It's the one size fits all, whatever. The universal solvent. We can put it that way. I don't know. One of the most impressive and useful of the first Panchen Lama's writings is his argument with ignorance. We have the book upstairs, which is similar to the 8th chapter of Shantideva's Guide to the Way of Life. I'll give you a little point of what he does. He sets up a dialogue between inherent existence and wisdom, and there's a battle back and forth. And the inherent existence leads off and says, I don't have to worry about it. The inherent existence is a big friend to everyone. Everyone likes inherent existence. Everyone's afraid of you, wisdom. And they go back and forth. I was always thinking that somehow we could stage this as a play, somehow, and bring up some of the points. You'd have to edit it, you can't get too scholarly. But Kenneth Lieberman translated it very well. He wanted to study extensively with Chögyam Rinpoche, and then he had a massive heart attack. But he survived. And he lives at Serra Monastery sometimes, and he's a layperson, sometimes in Baja, Mexico, Baja, California. He's a big surfer dude, man. He's also a coffee expert. I don't know if you know that, yeah. There's a book about coffee. I forgot what he calls it, The Way of Coffee, something like that. He's very knowledgeable, and he knows that the Nespresso pods come from India. The coffee is grown where it is near Serra Monastery.
Wow.
He's half Jewish, half Italian. So there's a joke in there somewhere. We'll work on it. But very good scholarly work on this. Very, very good. Nikki has met him. And if he ever shows up in New York, we're going to confine him to quarters here. You ain't getting a cup of coffee till you talk. Anyway, we'll stop at that because we only have 5 minutes. Please comment on this, but anyway, all the suffering of trying to learn this, all the difficulties, it's so worth it. It cuts away a lot of the crap. And what's the use of praying all the time, doing this, moving repetition of that, if you don't have in the back of your mind, this is very useful. These are bricks that are helping build this edifice of enlightenment or whatever. I'm not good at this. What's the word? Similes or metaphors. But these things are useful. Bear that in mind. It's all tailored to getting you out of hell, out of samsara and out of annoyance, and not only into a very blissful state, but not self-centered, like, in our heart, that's in the bliss, self-centered bliss. No, you're out there, and you're more blissful. It's not that you're going to suffer. That's what you want to do. Someone said, I think it's Holiness, most blissful feeling that a bodhisattva has is when he or she is asked to do something, asked to help. Somehow, their minds have changed so much. Don't ask me, because I was like, well, I got to do my sock straw. It has to be arranged. So, yeah. So we will pray for the following people. Anybody would comment or whatever? It's a lot to do. I know it's a very heavy topic, but we're doing it. Nicky, by the way, is fine. He's healthy. A friend is taking care of him now. He's still in Italy. His father passed away, you know that. So there's a lot of work involved in that. I'm sure it's not pleasant, both emotionally, and then the lawyers parachute in, and then it's nothing but fun. So we're saying the prayer for the good rebirth of Mike Mirabella, Bud Carl, actor from Harold and Maude. You know the.
He just died.
He just died, and James Van Der Beek, a young actor, 48 years old.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, we're mentioning them, and this puts a good imprint on it. We're not in it for the money here, so I'm sure it'll help. Sutra, the recollection of the Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak Sang Buddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience, the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strengths cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He's not stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. Extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats, who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi, where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma which is taught by the Bhagavat is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Jnana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata, pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. So 8 verses for training the mind by Langtri Tangpa. We heard from him before. Do not belittle anyone, he said. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found the precious treasure difficult to find. Others, out of jealousy, treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on. I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I had benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. Prayer for the swift return of Dr. Trungpa Rinpoche, who is right here, written by His Holiness Dalai Lama. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Guru Lozang Tubuang, Dorje Chang. Bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the victor Lozang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till cyclic existence's end to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings and wish-fulfilling jewel, return as the glory of Lozang Tenpei. Magnificent truth of the three precious jewels, Mahakala, Karma Yama, and Sri Mata Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. So this concludes today's presentation. Next Dharma talk will be Monday night, the 16th? Yes,
Yes.
the 16th at 7 o'clock, 151 West 30th Street, 3rd floor. There's no tarot this weekend. This is a non-tarot weekend. And the following that Wednesday, right back here at the parsonage in South Orange. Thank you for your patient listening. Remember, we are now on Blue Sky and we are on Substack. So, and we're working on getting back on Facebook. So, big love to all of you. Thank you.
Tony.
Thank you. Thank you all. These are too strong. These are too. You can see when it gets tired, you get tired, your eyesight diminishes. And these things are like.